Hey everyone, this is Carlos, and make sure you like, subscribe, Travel and News with Carlos Cruz. Okay, we're sitting here with Mackenzie today. What's up, Mackenzie?
Hey!
All right, so she's going to tell us today about her tribe and also what she's doing in the community and things that you should know. Boom, Mackenzie.
Hey! So thank you for having me on.
Yes.
I am super honored to be here. I am Alaskan native. I am Inupiaq, which is the very, very, very top part of Alaska, which is called like the Eskimos. And people think from Alaska, everybody's an Eskimo, right? No. There's so many different tribes and different types of Indians or Alaska natives within Alaska that are in Alaska in its whole. So, but for myself, I am at the very, very, very top, which is Inupiaq, which is Alaska Native Eskimo. And so, what else do you want to ask me?
Yeah, so how do Alaskan natives live today in Alaska, say, compared to, say, maybe 300 years ago?
So it depends on where you're at, right? So some people more in the city areas are living more of a city kind of life and living more of a, you know, city life. But the people that are out in the villages, we're still living the life that we grew up with. We're still subsistence hunting, subsistence fishing, and that is so important to us because there are some things that are going on in communities where I hope y'all can hear me because I'm here. But thank you. There's subsistence hunting that is being taken away. There's subsistence fishing that is being taken away because of overregulation from the government. But we, as natives, this is our lifeline. This is our livelihood. We literally, like these scallops. I didn't grow up with them, but same way that these came from the sea, I grew up with walrus, seal, just like all these different things from the sea. So it's super important that we maintain our subsistence way of living because it's how we survive and how we thrive. We can't go to the grocery store and buy a piece of chicken because it's maybe $20. Whereas in the city, it may be like $5. So that's like a whole different scenario of what's happening as far as price discrimination and like, I don't know what else.
Yeah, I totally get that. So it's like you guys are still living off the land, and those natural things with fishing. That's pretty cool. I've never seen a walrus up close or a seal up close in my entire life. That would be something I would love to actually see. And so how long have you been living in Atlanta? What has your transition been like?
I've been living here for about 6 years. The transition it was actually really hard. So once you come from, I think, motherland and, your homeland to where you see nature every day, and then you come into a land where it's like a concrete jungle. That's what I feel like it is. So it took me years to be able to kind of adapt, but overall, it is fun to be here because I can travel multiple ways and like within a couple hours. But in Alaska, like I would travel 8 hours and I'd still be in Alaska. So but that's the beauty of it too. Is like that's how large and bountiful Alaska is.
So, can you tell me about the Native American, the Inuit religion?
So it's not really a religion.
Okay.
It's more of a spiritual practice. So we do have, and this is kind of hard to break down because there is spiritual practices that we have that were also broken down through colonization. So my grandparents, my great-grandparents, my grandparents, my aunts, my uncles, they all had to go to like boarding schools, and they weren't able to practice our spiritual, connection with Mother Earth, or spirit, or they cut our hair off as boys, as young men. They cut our hair off. They took us. They stole us from our homes. I don't know if that's really where you want me to get into.
So it's like a colonization.
It was a really colonization.
Right.
So I don't know if you want me to get into all that, but I could.
No, you can get into anything you want. This is your story, her story, as they might say, and however you like to tell. There's no, on my channel, there's no my way of telling something that only you could know. I want everyone to express whatever's in their heart and their mind, and to go anywhere.
So yeah, I mean, people think colonization and things that happened so long ago, they didn't. They happened as far as back as my aunts, my mom. They experienced the boarding schools. They experienced being taken away, stolen from our families to where they weren't able to speak our native language. We weren't able to dance our native dances because they were considered like devil dances. So there's multiple things where that was still happening. As far as my mom, I'm 40.
I would never guess that. I thought you were like 27.
But no, so it's, just for that to happen looking back, everybody thinks it's so long ago. It's not. It just literally happened.
I get you. I totally understand that.
I remember one of my favorite quotes is Elizabeth Preservich. She said, how far are you? She went to Congress and she said, how far are you into the civilized nation that you are quoting that I am not here as... Hi. No. Okay.
So I think that is awesome. I think you've gone, your story, should be heard, and, colonization definitely is wrong, and I hope that people, understand, where you're coming from. Because you said it was that long ago, your aunts were in school and they were forced to do things that were unnative, or they wouldn't be able to practice their native dances and things like that, right?
Because they're said as demonic.
Wow. Oh, that's crazy. And these are what the Christians were telling your family.
Christians and Russian Orthodox.
That's right.
Because those are the people that colonize the land.
Gotcha. What are some symbols of the Inuit culture that, like, if I were to go to Google right now, I'd say, wow, that's pretty cool. Like symbolism.
These?
Oh, okay.
And me?
There we go. Okay, gotcha. All right.
But we also have, looks, which are the kind of like summer wear. Like it's kind of, I don't know how to explain it. It's like a summer garment that we wear in the winter, or the summer. And then we have our parkas, which is what the full fur piece, and that's what we wear in the winters. Mucklucks. If you go to Google and you want to see like typical things, that's typically what it is.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's what I said. And did you live in a part of Alaska where it's like dark 30 days of the year or something like that?
Yeah.
Oh, really? What part of Alaska is that? I was wondering.
I've gone back and forth. So I've been, like I said, in the city, and that's in central Alaska, which is more temperate as far as like transitions, but at the same time, it's still not, because you go to work in the dark and you go home in the dark. So it's the same thing.
Perfect way for vampire to work, right? If there were there. But I think that's where 30 Days of Night was talking about.
Yeah. But then I also lived in the village where it was more extreme. So it depends on where in Alaska you are. So where I was talking about was in Anchorage, which is down south. And then the further north you go, it's where it gets more extreme as far as the weather and the time, but the like darkness and lightness. So up there, it's a whole different territory.
So since you lived in darkness, let's say for example, how long did darkness last? Like 30 days? Okay.
Yeah.
Would you get insomnia, or is it just kind of used to it? I would.
I don't think you ever get used to it. And I think that's probably one of the things that's unspoken, that's starting to be more spoken about, is because a lot of people have it's called seasonal depression.
Oh yeah.
So that's something that's like we just always dealt with it, right? We didn't know what it was. So now, like, people are saying like all these things about seasonal depression, and yeah, our people have been suffering from seasonal depression for a long time and not knowing.
What year did the Russians conquer the Alaskan Native culture, and were there any wars, anything like that, or was it more like slow? Okay, gotcha. Tell me something about.
It's been like in the 1800s. I can't say for sure.
Tell me about something you're passionate about, what you're doing now, and how people can get involved.
Passionate about as far as
social issues, stuff like that.
I'm passionate about everything.
Okay.
Baby, we gonna be out here. Like, I've been out here in the streets. I've gotten arrested multiple times. So you don't have to get arrested, but it takes like dedication. Like, it just like interest to where you want to be involved. Like, because you look around and you're like, this shit is fucked. Can I say that?
Sure, go ahead.
This shit is fucked up. Like, everything around you is like, there's so much going on, and you're like, you have to like stop and think like, this isn't right. And I think so as an Alaskan Alaska Native, I feel like it's been my inherited birthright to be a social activist. So I've been doing this as far as I can remember, but I look around us right now and I do not understand how many more people are not concerned, or maybe people were concerned and they just lost interest. Because I deal with multiple platforms of social injustices. So I mean, whatever your passion is, though, stick to it.
And so you were arrested for protesting. What events led to those arrests? Was it BLM? Was it Native rights thing? Was it women's rights? Or
so it was. I don't want to connect the connotation with Black Lives Matter with the hashtag Black Lives Matter. So there's two different things.
Okay.
There's the organization and the movement. So those are two different things. So the first one was George Floyd, and then the second one was associated with Breonna Taylor.
right. And even though you were arrested for that, do you feel that it was just unjust for you arrested since you were just protesting because that's a constitutional right? Do you feel like your rights were being infringed upon? Like it was just unjustified?
I wasn't doing anything wrong.
Wow. And where did this take place?
One here in Georgia and one in is it Minneapolis? Minneapolis.
And so just the fact that you were on the street meant that you were supposed to be arrested. Wow, so you were in Minneapolis for the George Floyd. Was that scary? What's that environment like?
It was scary, but there was also a lot of power. So I feel like energy is what energy receives, right? So it's like that circle, and it definitely was an energy of positivity. We weren't there to create chaos. We were there to raise awareness. I just remember us going before we even marched out, we prayed. And, we were all just like hugging each other before, in a church. And it was beautiful. It was really beautiful.
And that doesn't sit right with me. They just arrested you just for being out in the street. Did they associate you with people who were running amok?
No.
They just blatantly put you in handcuffs and said you're under arrest just for protesting. Because protesting is a constitutional right.
It is.
It's one of the amendments, And I am so sorry that happened to you. And that should not be, the case. I love your passion, and I like the fact that you belong to so many different things. You're a very, very tolerant person, and it looks like you can be friends with anybody.
Everybody. I'm friends with everybody.
I think that's totally awesome, and just meeting with you a while back about a young man that lost his life. I guess at the heads of the cops at the time. Really passionate, really smart. You look like you're very, very socially aware. Do you have a message for young people and people that want to help to your cause or causes that you support?
I think most of it would be just to, because this is something I teach my daughters, is to think creatively. Like, you have to think outside the box. You have to also, like, question, like, what's going on. So maybe something that's coming in, and this is what happens so much in mainstream media, is things get, you know, you get bombarded with so much stuff, and you're like, you kind of like are more in a reactive phase, because it's like, oh my God, like, what am I gonna do right now? And you're like, I gotta do this. But it's taking that time and to sit back and think about the message, and then kind of go through different resources and see maybe what's really going on, because something that's coming at you in mainstream media isn't always the main message.
Wow, that's powerful. I like that message you have against you. That's one thing I teach my son as well, is to respect people and help people anything they can, and despite whatever views they have, to be respectful and to, you know, to help people. You know, I really appreciate your time, and Mackenzie, and I consider you to be a new friend and awesome person. And how can people reach you about your causes, or reach the causes that you would like them to partake in or support?
So I am on Instagram. It's real easy. MacMur3. Oh no, I'm MacMur on Instagram. MacMur on Instagram. But the groups that I am affiliated with is right now is really, really important. Protect the Vote Georgia, and we are out there every single day, sideways. We've been out there for a long time, having people getting people registered to vote. So we are right now, right here, needing everybody to get out to vote. That's nonpartisan.
Right.
We just need everybody to get out to vote. So protectthevotegeorgia.com.
Protect the Vote Georgia. Do you want to talk about a candidate that you're endorsing personally, or do you want to keep it open and say just vote?
Just vote.
Okay. All right, Mackenzie, I appreciate your time. You're so awesome, and I really appreciate you interviewing with me, and thank you very, very much.
Thank you.